Hello, beautiful people. How are you all doing today? I hope you are all having the most amazing day. This is Anita. I'm a jewelry and accessory designer for a UK-based brand, Anita Kwanzaa London. So today, I have come to share another creative project with you. So today we'll be making a necklace using a repurposed belt pendant. I don't know whether you've come across this or maybe you own a belt that is linked like this. It's one of those belts like with the filigree, brass filigree design pattern. And sometimes it comes with the pendant, the buckle, and the buckle comes like this with a leather attachment, and then it has like a buckle with the holes where you can adjust the waist size, or it comes like this, which is like a row of like this kind of filigree belt with huge jump rings attaching, linking it to the middle. So this is what it looks like. So I had this brass belt for years, and instead of discarding the belt, because I thought, okay, I'm gonna repurpose it and use it for something, either a bracelet or use it as a necklace. So you can see I've used quite a lot of them. I've used quite a few, so I've only got like about 3 of them left out of I think about 12 of the filigree brass pendant that was part of the belt. So I'm gonna show you one of the piece that I made little earlier this week. So it's this necklace here. You can see here it features that the brass pendant. I still need to cover the back of it with like maybe like denim or like a thicker fabric, but this is how I've done the wire work at the back, just to hold the detail and the embellishments that I've done in front. So again, the back of the belt pendant is the base where I've now used to now apply all my intricate embellishments on top. So I've used crystals, I've used gemstones, and I've used this beautiful kind of like acrylic bead, and also I've got wooden beads in between, rondel wooden beads, and I've held it with chain. This is also a beautiful necklace that you can layer up with other like finer pieces of jewelry that you wear. So this is an idea of what you can make with something that you already own, like a belt pendant, something like a belt pendant, and then you can wear it every day, and you can dress it up or dress it down. But anyway, without further ado, we're gonna get cracking with this project. But I'm gonna introduce you first to the tools that we'll be using for our design project. So we'll be using the side cutters, pliers. We'll be using chain nose pliers. We'll be using round nose pliers. I also like to use another chain nose pliers as well, because sometimes I need to use both to open and close my jump rings. I always use 2 of those. We might need a pair of scissors, possibly. And then we'll also might be needing uhu glue. Excuse the mess of my uhu glue. You can tell I've had a fair share use of it. So we'll be using uhu glue or E6000 glue, if you have any. And then we'll also be using super glue. I like to use both uhu glue and super glue for just double strength, okay? And then we'll also be using, for stringing, we'll be using tiger tail. So we'll be using tiger tail as well as 22 gauge wire. We'll be using 22 gauge wire as well as 26 gauge wire, okay? And then for a feature on the necklace, like to drape our necklace around, we might be using a leather, or we might be using, bear with me, I've been thinking of that. Maybe I should incorporate that into the design. Bear with me, let me just get it. We might also be using, if you have this, and I'm sure we all go through this like anything. I know that in a year, I at least get 2 charging cables for my phone. Don't even ask me why. I know. All these people, when they make stuff, they has a shelf life and they make you want to go back and get some more. So we'll be using a charging cable. You'll be thinking, how are we going to be using this? Watch and see. We'll be recycling that. We'll be using that in our necklace as well, okay? And then we'll be using assorted arrays of beads, okay, and crystals. So I've got this beautiful agate here. So this is that 30 mm in size, so we'll be using that as one of our focal central features. And then we'll also be using accumulation of different beads. As you can see here, I've got these crystals here that I'll be using. This is like this multifaceted crystals, so we'll be using 4 of those for our project as well. So this is about 20 by 15 mm in size. But basically, whatever you have, maybe you want to reuse parts of broken jewelry, or if you're a beader, you know, you've got some beads already at home that you want to incorporate into this project. Honestly, use whatever you have. Use whatever you have, okay? And then we'll also be using, I've got this small faceted 4 mm, this is 4 mm in size, faceted blue crystal glass beads I'll also be using. I was also thinking of incorporating a bangle into this necklace. Possibly we might use it, possibly we might not, but I'll let you know the materials we're using along the way, okay? And then I'll also be using this large swivel clasp. Obviously I like we're going for like a much of a muted colors, earthy tone, so I felt like this size would be perfect for for the project I'm working on. But obviously if you don't have the size, you can use whatever size you have, okay? All right, so let's get cracking. Let me just clear this space so we can get moving, okay? So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out this jump ring that is on that comes as part of the belt, as you can see. So this is it. So we might be using one for this, but obviously if you've done the embellishment on the first one, and if you have enough of it and you want to continue making like an extension of your necklace, you might as well do that, because it's your design. Design it the way you want it. So even if you don't use this, if you only just use one, save one for another project. You can even use it to make like a beautiful cuff bracelet as well, okay? So basically the whole purpose of this is use, reuse, reuse, recycle, okay? All right, so we're just gonna get one of the pendants, the pendants here, okay? So what we're going to do first is, bear with me, let me just get my, okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the focal point, the focal pendant beads, okay? So these beads, you could use whatever you have, all right? You can use whatever you have. So I'm going to find the middle part of my necklace. So when you look at the pendant, it should have like let me use my plier. So you can see here, I'm going to use this guideline here in the middle here, and I'm going to use this guideline here on the side. Okay, this will mark my central feature. So I've got this feature here, which is the middle. So I'm going to use that as my middle, and I've got these designs on the opposite sides on each end of the pendant as my placements where I'm going to put my beads, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of my 22 gauge wire, all right? So I'm just going to just take quite a few. I always say, give yourself enough length to work with and shorter length to work with, honestly, because there's nothing worse than cutting yourself a shorter length and then you're having to kind of adjust when you're making your piece, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thread my wire through my bead, okay? So I'm just going to make sure that I have enough length on both sides of my bead, okay? I'm going to place my bead, all right, with the hole pointed in the direction that I want it, so which is going to be this top part here, okay, which is this part here on my pendant. So in yours it might be different, but it's just worth bearing in mind to find the middle focal point. Then you're going to place your bead in the middle, and then once you're now threading, doing the wire work, it makes it easier basically, okay? So I'm just going to take the tip of my wire, I'm going to now insert it through the hole on my filigree pendant, okay, belt pendant. All right, so I'm just going to pass it through, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other side as well, for the bottom part of the pendant, okay? So I'm just going to put the same thing here. I'm going to show you what it looks like at the back, all right, once I've inserted the wires through, okay? So this is when I pull the wires, that's what it looks like at the back, okay? I'm going to reinsert the wires, so you can see at the back, okay, there's another hole at the back of the pendant. So I'm just going to pass my wire through, Okay, bear in mind when you're pulling your wire, this is a 22 gauge wire. At the end of the day, it's still a wire and it's likely to bend or snap, so just be careful with it. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to now pull my wires like so. Okay, and I'm going to hold on to my pendant steady in the middle. All right, steady in the middle. I'm going to take one end of my wire from this side, from the bottom part of my bead. I'm going to pass that wire back through the bead like so. All right, and then I'm going to now pull it out. I'm just going to create a space here. I'm going to pull it out like so. Okay, again, straightening my wire. If you find that your wire is a bit bent for some reason, please do straighten it out, because again, this leads to it snapping if you're not careful. All right, so I've pulled that wire from that end. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that wire and reinsert it back into the hole that is next to the upper pendant. Okay, so I'm just going to now make sure my wires are straight. I'm going to pull it. Okay, the top wire on the top part of the bead, I'm going to now reinsert it back into the opposite hole. Okay, so again, when you're doing this, make sure that the hole on your bead is big enough. All right, because there's a lot of inserting and reinserting happening here. All right, so make sure that when you're doing yours, whatever bead you're using, okay, make sure that the hole is big enough. All right, so I'm just going to maybe trim that end of my wire because it's a bit wriggly and it's not fitting through the bead. Okay, let's try again. If it doesn't fit through, then obviously we just have to proceed to the next stage. All right, so let me see. If it doesn't fit, that's all right, because okay, oh, it's come out. All right, that's fine. So I'm just going to pull it out like so, straighten up my wires here. All right, make sure I straighten it out, pull it. Again, when you're pulling it, pull it gently. All right, okay, I'm going to insert my wire through the back. Okay, all right, you can use whatever plier just to assist you in pulling, but again, when you're pulling, again, bear in mind not to pull so harshly. Okay, all right, so once I've done that, you see I've got my wires crossed over at the back. I've got my pendant tightly in the middle. But to make it extra secure, so it's not having to move about as much, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose plier. I'm going to just bend it a little bit like that. All right, just bend it a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing for both on the other side as well. Just bend. Okay, all right, that way you see it's steady. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this same wire from the back, pass it through the top hole like so. All right, or you might pass it through here depending on how much space you have on your belt buckle or pendant. All right, okay, then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take one of my pendants, which is my crystal pendant. I'm going to pass it through the hole. All right, so when I pass it through the hole, okay, I'm going to bring it here. So take it through here and then pass it through one of the holes on the pendant. Okay, because we're trying to now make sure that all our beads are aligned. All right, so I'm going to repeat the same process twice again. Okay, so I'm just going to take that again, maybe find a smaller hole, maybe place the hole there, pull it out. All right, I'm just going to pull that to one side. Okay, bear with me. So there's going to be quite a bit of pulling and tugging. So I'm just going to take the same wire, insert it back through the bead. Okay, all right. Oh, sorry. And then I'm going to now pull it out. Okay, so what I'm going, when you pull it out, just pull it out slightly. And then what I'm going to do is, bear with me, I'll just pull it a little bit more. All right, and then I'm going to now take this wire and insert it through this hole here. Again, all pendants will be different, so it might not have the same hole as I do for my pendant, but when you're doing yours, just find a way you can now place that hole to now finish off to, we're going to try and make a knot here. Okay, I'm going to take my round nose plier. I'm going to take this tip, the end of my wire. I'm going to find a way of wrapping it round, because I want to now finish off to now make a kind of like tighten, to now make a loop. Okay, so I'm just going to take the tip of my round nose plier. I'm going to take my wire. I'm going to wrap it round just on top of my wire like so. All right, so just do the same thing, repeat, and then pull here. Sorry, do bear with me. And then what we're going to do is, once you've done a little bit of your wire wrapping, you can just take your chain nose plier, just tuck it in. Okay, once you've tucked it in, it looks something like that. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for this bottom part here, the lower part here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my wire just over here. Okay, the top here. I'm going to pass my wire through my bead. Again, finding the middle part, and then I'm going to take my wire, insert it back onto the bead, the pendant. Okay, and then I'm going to pull. All right, and then what I'm going to do again is I'm going to take my wire again, cross it over from the back, you see. All right, take it and then reinsert it back through the hole of my bead, on my bead, crystal glass bead. Okay, make sure you always straighten your wire, okay, when you're doing this. And again, do bear in mind the hole on your bead as well, all right, because it does matter. All right, okay, so I'm just going to pass that through. I'm going to pull it out with my plier, and then I'm going to reinsert it back through the hole. Find the hole on the side. Okay, the hole on the side here, pull it out. All right, okay, so when you're doing this, pull, be careful, because I don't want to pull so much that so just pull it tightly against, but when you're pulling it, still be careful with it. Okay, so I'm just going to pass the hole. Sorry, do bear with me, things are moving around on my table. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it out. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull. It's gonna be a bit of pulling and tugging once you're doing yours, but it's all right. Okay, so making sure that your crystal is steady. All right, so I'm just gonna pass that wire again through here, and then pull. All right, pull. Okay, my wire here is a bit loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take my wire. I think obviously where I've wrapped it, do bear with me, where I've wrapped it, I didn't wrap it tight enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it tightly here. Let me take up my wires that I've just wrapped out lastly, the ones I've just done. I'm going to just pull it again tightly. I think I'm going to pull it tightly again because I didn't pull it tightly. I was being ever so careful, okay, because again I have to bear in mind that this is wire and it can easily snap. All right, so I'm just gonna pull that. All right, so I'm pulling it, I'm holding onto my crystal like so. Okay, so make sure that I pull all that. I'm just gonna place it at the back here, so you can just tighten the back. So once, if it's too loose at the back, you can use your plier just to bend and then flatten it like that. So you can see it's flat there, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire, pass it back through a different hole. So always aim for a different hole when that is close to your bead or your gemstones or your crystals, whatever bead you're using, okay? So I'm just going to pull that out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert that back again, or what I can do is just to make sure that that hole, that wire is not moving as much. I'm going to try and see how I can wrap it. Use my round nose plier. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap it. I think I'll just wrap it multiple times just underneath that crystal because I don't want it to be moving as much. All right, so once I've done that, just wash it in the middle with my round nose plier. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass my wire through the top like so, and just do exactly what we've done previously, where we've just wrapped it round. Oh, sorry, wrapped it round. And then you can now make a knot. Okay, so maybe like a loop here. You can make a loop at the top. Sorry, I'm just going to pass my wire behind. Okay, bear with me. Here you have to be extremely careful. So I'm just trying to kind of like make, so you can use either your chain nose plier or your round nose plier here. So once I've done that, okay, so I'm just gonna twist my wire here just to make it tighter. All right, I'm gonna press that down. Just bear in mind, obviously once we're done with our necklace, we're gonna cover the back of it anyway, because we're gonna cover the back with like a thicker wire, just so that it'll be extra comfortable once you're wet putting it on. Okay, then we'll have to repeat the same thing for the opposite side. All right, so bear with me, let me grab some more wire. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repeat the same process again. All right, for this side. All right, bear with me. I'm just going to now maybe from here again, looking at both sides of my, okay, I want my pin to come out from here, so I'm just going to now pass that through here. All right, through the hole there. Okay, and then I'm going to pass my wire through. Sorry, bear with me, it's like I'm out of camera then. Okay, so I'm just trying to create like a loop, because I've come on the side of my pendant where I have this part of the bell here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that there, and then I'm going to now pass my wire through. Okay, so what you find that once you get to this part with the belt part, the belt hooks, it might be a bit tricky now, because obviously where you place, obviously here was easy to turn things around, but it's okay. There's still, well, there's a will, there's a way. So I'm just gonna pass my wire through. Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna now pass my wire again through like that in the middle of my pendant. I'm gonna pass my wire through the hole. Okay, all right, bring them out. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, push it down. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is reinsert the wire through the hole again. All right, so I'm just going to find a different hole to put it through. Oh, 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 oh. Okay, there's so many. All right, let me see. Bear with me, trying to find the right hole on the pendant. Okay, all right, do bear with me. Oh, I'm so sorry for this. I'm really sorry about the time. Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm just going to pull my wire. You can use a thicker gauge wire as well if you wish, maybe like an 18 gauge or a 20 gauge wire. You can use those thicker gauge wires as well to make your beads steady on your pendant. Okay, all right, so you can use both. So I'm just going to pass my wires through. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing that we did on the opposite side. Do bear with me. Okay, this is like one of those stages in this part of the jewelry whereby it matters because it is the focal point on the necklace and we have to get it right. Okay, so I'm just gonna now take another pendant, my crystal glass beads here. I love, 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 love this crystal glass beads. My goodness, I love it. It just makes everything look so glam, you know, it looks so glam. All right, so I'm just going to pass that through here. All right, so you can use any side. So I'm just going to pass that through the back and then pass that through one of the holes here. Okay, and then pull it out. Okay, All right, bear with me. All right. Ooh, 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 pull, 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 pull. Careful when you're pulling on it out, because this is wire and this is crystals. You don't want to be chipping anything. Okay. So I'm just gonna now. We're almost done with this stage. Do bear with me. I bet you be thinking, God, that's a long procedure. How come she didn't film this separately before? You know, so I just wanted to show you, just in case if you have this particular pendant that I have with the different placements on the, okay, I think this one should be enough. I think, because that's, I don't know whether to, because it's not fitting that hole. Okay, let me maybe pass it through the top. Okay. Okay, bear with me here. Okay, I'm just gonna pass it through here, top again. And then I'm gonna pass it through here. Okay, and then we'll be finished with this stage and we'll move on to the next stage, all right? Okay. All right, so just pull again. So when you're pulling, please be careful when you're pulling. This is wire and you don't want your wire to snap right in the middle of your design. I've done this before whereby I pulled the wire and I kept thinking, oh yeah, it's wire, it will withstand any pull. And I was right in the middle of designing something and I pulled the wire, and you know what? I had to start all over again. There was nothing like, okay, let me just loop this and da da da. I had to start all over again, okay? All right, so once we've done that, as you can see, we've got like a cross pattern like. So you can go ahead and probably adjust it. So I need to move this one a bit, maybe make that one tight here. Okay, so it needs to be like a cross, like that way, all right? So you can always like look at yours and then see how it goes, all right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take my wire that is left over here. I'm going to split my wire into two. So I'm going to take one wire. I'm going to find the hole on the top part of my pendant here, okay? And then I'm going to pull out the wire here, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I've got my crystal glass beads, all right? There's crystal glass beads here, all right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to now go ahead and insert the beads. So insert the bead on my wire, okay? And then I'm going to now wrap it across around like that. So you now take the wire and reinsert it from the back of the pendant like so. Bring it out to the front. All right. Okay, I put it in the too farther away, so I can see there's a hole there. Okay, maybe put it through here. Okay, and then bring it out. So basically, essentially, what we're trying to do is put the crystal glass beads on top like that. So I'm just gonna do another one, and then you now pass it through like this on top of the pendant like that. You know, I can see that. Pass it through the next hole, all right? Okay, and then pull it out, your wire, and then thread onto your wire another crystal bead. So you can keep doing that. You can use whatever bead that you wish, okay, for the end, round the edge of your pendant, all right? So again, it's just inserting the wire, wrap it over the edge of your pendant, your belt pendant, and then reinsert it back into the hole in front. Okay, so you just keep looking at where you're placing that crystal bead. Okay, pass it through here, reinsert it, and then insert. Okay, so it's just like a pattern that you'll be going through till you've gone all the way around. So you go all the way around. Okay, so once you've done all that, it should look like that once you've done it. Okay, once you've gone all around, as you can see, we've gone round, 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 and then when you get to this point here where you've got this bit here hanging, then what we're going to do is we're going to take another the crystal glass bead, okay, and then we're gonna now again pass it around pass it through the hole there at the back, and then pull it out from the front. Okay, do the same thing for the side. Pass it through here, pass it through the hole, find the hole, nearest hole next to the pendant, the belt pendant, and then we'll now pull it out. Okay, all right, and then you can do that till you kind of like finish off the bear with me, and then do the same thing here, pass it through that hole there. All right, and I'm going to show you how we're going to finish it off. Okay, so I'm just going to now use my round nose plier. I'm going to gently pull our wire here on top. All right, put the last one here. All right, and then pass the hole. So by the time you're done, no one will actually think that this was once, or this is a belt pendant. Nobody will know. Nobody will know unless if you tell them like, oh, you know what, this used to be a belt pendant. Nobody will know. It's just amazing the things we have in our wardrobes that sometimes when we're done using them, we just discard them. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't give your items to charity or to the thrift shops or whatever. But sometimes, instead of disposing them, maybe if it's torn or it's broken and you think, you know what, oh, I'm done with it, I cannot do this anymore, then obviously we get rid. You can always repurpose your items and make them into something new, So what I'm going to do here is, all right, bear with me. All right, so we're just going to find a way of like tucking the wire around. So I'm just going to wrap that wire around. There's a bit of a thing of wire. Wrap it around here. All right, here. And I'm going to take my chain nose plier. I'm going to now finish it off, and then I'm going to bend that one here. All right. So once you're done, it looks like this. Here you see what it looks like at the back. Don't worry about the back. The back, we're going to now cover it, but this is what it looks like when you're done. So that's it. All right. Okay, so this part here, I'll probably be needing my 22 gauge wire. All right. I was going to use this size, but I think this one might be too big. I've got this size wire here. Bear with me. It is rather big, so I think this would be a bit too big for the next stage that we're planning to do. So I've got these beautiful cone bead caps. All right, so let me just move this. I've got this lovely cone bead caps here. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. If you don't have this, do not worry. You can use beads of your choice, and I'll show you how you can do that. All right. Okay, so I'll be using that, and I'll also be using my green agate tube bead. Okay, this is 14 by 4 mm. All right. So I'm just gonna put the amount. I don't know how many there, but we'll be using quite a bit. Okay. So let's say, for instance, basically what we're going to do is we're going to cover this part of our pendant. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you don't have the tube, the cone bead caps, which is this here. If you don't have that and you just have any bead of your choice, let's say, for instance, you have these beads here, these beads here, okay, like a smaller beads, or you have any beads like any beads like that. All right. Okay, you can just do exactly the same process I'm about to do next. Okay, but just bear in mind that obviously I'm using a cone and I'm using a different bead, but in yours you just use exactly the same technique. Okay, so I'm just going to get myself a 26 gauge wire. So I'll just start off with not too much at the moment, because obviously I don't want it to now tangle up as I'm beading, so I'll just cut as I go along. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to double up my wire. All right, so when I double up my wire, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the hole here. So again, it's all about finding the hole on the pendant. All right, So I'm just going to find the hole on my pendant. Let me find out the next hole. See whether there's a next hole here. Let me pull, see whether it's going to come out. I haven't got my glasses on, so it's like everything kind of blends, okay? So you can see I've passed the wire through the back. I'm going to pull my wires, okay? So when I doubled my wire, it looks like that. Can you see how it looks like at the back? Although it's blending in because obviously it's antique copper, so you can't really see, antique bronze, sorry. So you can't really see the colors blending in. So I'm just going to pull my wire, all right? So when I pull my wire, let me make sure that it is the same length, because right now one is shorter than the other. All right, so I'm just going to now make sure I pull the right one up, all right? Okay, so when you pull your wires, so when you pull it up like that, all right? So let's say, for instance, now, let me talk you through your part where you don't have the beads, the caps that I have, all right? So once you put up your wire, what you can do is, if you have a seed bead or any bead or smaller bead, then what you can do is you can just pass that wire through any bead, the smaller bead of your choice, okay? All right? And then once you do that, you can use something a lot brighter than what I have already. And then what you can then do is pass both of your wires through the bead of your choice, and then you can now place it like that, all right? That's if you don't have the bead, obviously, if you don't have this cone that I have. I've had this cone for quite some time, so I cannot even remember where I got it. But if you don't have this cone or anything that resembles it, you can just do that. So once you do that, thread your beads through, then find a loop, and then insert both of your wires through the middle like so. Then just showing you, for instance. So you show it, put your wires through, find the end of your pendant, okay? And then you now do it like so. That's if you don't have the cone, all right? So yours will be looking like that, all right? So really use what you have. Use what you have, okay? Use what you have. Don't go like, you know, excessively overspending, because this is all about using what we have to create something beautiful, all right? So for my design, I'm just going to pass my cone through. I'm going to pass my 2 wires through my cone bead cap, okay? Cone caps, all right? And then, so I'm going to insert, so it's going to look like that. I'm going to take my agate, insert both wires through my agate. So hopefully both of them will fit. Okay, yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so you see my agate here, I'm going to push it through the middle of my, like that, okay, of my cone caps, all right? I'm just going to take my wire, wrap it round like that, over my bead like that, okay, like that. I'm going to now take my wire, pass it out through the middle like that, okay? Oh, actually, what I can do is, yeah, I think that's the best place to actually do it. Make sure it's facing the right way, and then pass it through like that, okay? And then I'm going to take my wire again, find the hole at the back. So I'm going to find another hole. So basically what we're doing is trying to do like a bit of hide and seek. A bit of hide and seek. So, bear with me. Okay, I really need to find my glasses because I really cannot see. Okay, I found one. I found the hole for one of my wires. So I just pull that one out first. All right, I'll pull that one out. And I'm gonna find the next hole for the next one. Okay, so I'm just gonna find another hole here. Okay, cool. So I found another hole. All right, so just take your time when you're making this, because essentially jewelry is meant to relax you. It's a relaxing process. All right, so I'm just gonna take my cotton cap again, insert that through the hole in the middle. All right, and then I'm going to make sure that my ends are all, insert another one. All right, So I'm just gonna go ahead and just do all this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so once we've done all the wrapping, the wire wrapping, it should look like this. So do bear in mind that when you're doing yours, you might not have a cone, unless if you have a necklace which features like a cap or a cone, or if you have anything that you can use in your necklace, you can do that. But what I've done here is I've used the cone caps and bead caps, and I've put my my agate through, and I've done the wire wrapping. So that's what I've done. But like I showed you earlier on, if you don't have the cone bead, you can use beads and then use seed beads. You can even use seed beads and have them alternating in between your beads. Okay, but if you want a different bead, you can have a main focal point bead in the middle, and then you can stagger around the bead the way you want it. It's your style, is your necklace. You do it the way you want. But in my case, I've done it like this, and then that's the back of the belt pendant. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to grab a bracelet. I mentioned to you about a bracelet. So in this case, I'm using this, but I love bracelets. As you can see, I've got quite a few stacked up on my on my arm. But if you have a bracelet that you're not using anymore, like similar to this, and you feel like, okay, you want to bring it into your necklace, feel free to just use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now use some of my beads here. So I've got my crystal glass beads. So you can use seed beads, you can use any small size beads of your choice. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of my 26 gauge wire. So I'm just going to now take out quite a few. I'm just going to cut myself quite a substantial amount of substantial length, because we're going to be doing a wire wrap onto the bracelet. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my bracelet here, the tip of my bracelet. So again, it's best if you have a bracelet that is closed, you can do the same. You can now, like a full round bracelet. I'm going to show you at the moment, but like the normal like bangle, if you have the circle one, you can still apply the same technique. But if you have something like this as well, it's equally good. Okay, so I'm just going to take the tip of my wire. I'm gonna now place it against the side of my bracelet like this, and I'm gonna use my hand. I'm gonna hold the shorter part of my wire, the tail end of my wire, and I'm gonna take the longer part of my wire, and I'm gonna now wrap it around my bracelet, just the top part of my bracelet like that. Okay, so I'm just going to continue wrapping it like that, just quite a bit. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the other tail end of my wire. I'm going to pick up my crystal glass bead. Okay, and then I'm going to slide that bead down, and I'm going to take the bead, I'm going to wrap it over my bracelet like so. I don't know if they can see that. And I'm now going to wrap over. So I'll take my bead. So my bead is placed. Let me do it again so you can see. All right. So my bead is placed on top of my bracelet like so. I'm just going to now, using my finger, I'm going to hold on to the bead like that. Okay. I'm going to take my wire, this longer part of the wire. I'm going to wrap it round, wrap it over the bead like that, wrap it across the bead like that, and then now wrap it again outside the bead. Okay, so technically what we're trying to do is we're trying to secure this bead onto the bracelet. All right, then I'm gonna get my wire again, the tail end of my wire, pick up another bead, slide up my bead down, and I'll repeat the same process again, taking my wire, placing the bead next to the wire, next to this one, the first one. Wrap this wire round the bracelet, wrap it a couple of times outside, you see here, next to the bead. Then take this wire, wrap it behind, like take it like that, wrap it behind the bracelet like that, okay, in between the bead. And then basically you're doing like a crisscross. So like that, and then like that, okay? And then you wrap it a few times, okay? And then you do the same thing the third time round. So you keep doing that same process till you cover your whole bracelet. Okay, again, if you're using a full bracelet, you can bangle, you can do the same. So again, taking your bead, placing it against your, make sure this hand is gripping onto the bracelet, and this extra wire here. Okay, you can trim that wire if you want, or you can just hold on to it because we're going to cover it anyway. So you take that wire, align your bead, making sure that your bead is straight. Okay, and then you now wrap it outside, and then wrap to the side like that. Okay, I'll repeat the fourth one so you can see again what I mean. All right, so we're just going to take the fourth one, thread the bead onto, I mean, again, it's entirely up to you the size you want to use. I'm using 4 mm for this stage, this process. Okay, but you can use a bigger bead if you want. Probably the best one is, don't use bead that is way too big. Maybe use between 4 mm to probably 6 mm, or even if you have like 2 mm, you can use like a seed bead. You can actually do that too. So I'm just going to take my wire again, wrap it across like so. You see how I'm doing it? Take it here, wrap it like that. All right, wrap it like that. Okay, holding on to it like so. All right, take this wire, wrap it like that, wrap it a couple of times. Take this other wire here, wrap it up over, and then bring it here. Okay, straighten up your beads because you need your beads to be straight. Okay, take this wire again and then wrap it on the outside part of your bead. Okay, so this is what essentially it looks like. All right, so you can do a messy wrap or you can do a neat wrap. Is entirely up to you. So once you've done that, you are going to go ahead and do the whole bracelet. Okay, if you're doing a full bracelet, you cover the whole thing. All right, so once you're done, it should look something like that. Okay, as you can see, even with that as well, you can transform your old bracelet and it can be something that you can put on like that. All right, you can see how it looks, so you can have it like that. All right, okay, but we're not doing a bracelet today. We're just recycling this bracelet. Okay, so once we've done that, so we're just going to put that down on the table so you can see the layout. Okay, so again, bearing in mind I'm using this part of my belt pendant as the belt buckle as my feature. So if you don't have that on your belt buckle, find somewhere that is the middle point, because obviously that is what you had to consider in mind when you were putting your crystal bead and your focal beads beforehand in the beginning. Okay, so once you've done that, you now find a middle point on your bracelet. Let your middle point match the middle point on the pendant. All right, on the belt buckle, and then we're going to leave it like that. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to now grab hold of my bigger wire, gauge wire. So I'm going to take this one. This one I got is a 1 meter 3.26. I think this is like this. I think this would be. Bear with me. Let me just twist it. It's a lot thicker. It's a lot thicker. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut myself about 2 shorter length like that. You can see the length is not so super long, so I'm going to cut myself the exact length again twice. All right, so I'm just going to take that, straighten up my wire. All right, and then I'm going to now cut exactly the same length like I did before. All right, so you can see I've got 2 lengths of the same size. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle point. You see, this is the middle point on my pendant, belt buckle. So on the side here there should be, because this pendant has holes on it. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a hole on the side here. As you can see, there's a hole here. All right, there's a hole there, so I'm just going to now bend it into a U shape like that. All right, so when I bend it into a U shape, you can see the back here, you see the front. I'm going to hold onto this tightly. All right, I'm going to take my chain nose plier. I'm going to now take this wire, the shorter wire. Okay, pass that one to the front. Take the shorter wire. I'm going to wrap the shorter wire around the longer wire. Okay, so I'm just going to hold on to that using my finger here, or you can use your plier, but it's quite, you have to make sure that this wire wrap will be thick enough, because we're trying to secure that wire onto the pendant. All right, the belt buckle. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the shorter wire around the longer wire. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Okay, bear with me. Turn it round. and then bend. Okay, and then when you get that little snip there, snip off the shorter wire, straighten up your wire, and I'm going to use my chain nose plier, and I'm going to pull it down here, and then maybe I tuck in the sharp part because I don't want the sharp part to be poking me, okay, or poking if you're making your own, okay. So that's, we've attached that part onto the pendant. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to trim off this this rough point on my wire. So again, I'm going to now find a wire, another hole. So I'm going to, bear in mind, find the one that is closer to this point here. So I'm just going to push that out through like that, okay. I'm going to now bend that again into a U shape like I did previously. Make sure that I bring my wires closer together, and I'm going to take my chain nose plier. I'm going to take the small wire, push the longer wire in front like so. I'm going to take this shorter wire, I'm going to wrap this shorter wire around my longer wire, okay, holding onto your pendants, your beaded buckle, okay, belt buckle. So I'm just going to now twist, okay, twist, and then using this, the tip of your chain nose plier, I'm gonna now make sure I pull those wire wrap together, okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and try and see what I can snip off that smaller part. But be careful when you're doing this, you don't want to cut your actual main wire, okay. All right, so make sure that it's smooth, it's not going to be pricking your skin. Okay, so you can see the back of the belt pendant has these two aligning wires, okay. So with the 16 gauge wire, all right, so we'll put it there. So we're gonna get our pendant, our bracelet. So we're gonna find the middle point, so of the bracelet, okay. So I'm just gonna find the cleaner part, okay, because one part of the bracelet is like got messy wrap, and one part is like really, really clean from where you've wrapped it, from where I've wrapped it. So I'm just gonna find the middle point of my bracelet. So I'm hoping that it will be here. So I'm just gonna look at it again and see, because once I wrap that down, it's gonna be hard for me to move again. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna now look at it and see. All right. So I think that's the middle point. I'm gonna take this wire here. I'm gonna now put it around, wrap it around. So again, you have to really, really hold this part properly. All right, firmly. All right. So possibly both of your hands will be very, very busy at this point. All right. So you just take that wire. Again, I'm wrapping it in between the beads, okay? So you can you can use your chain nose plier to help you do the wrapping. All right. Okay. You see, I've attached that there. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side, okay? So I'm just gonna hold on to my my belt buckle. I'm gonna take this longer wire, wrap it round in between the beads, okay? Using your chain nose plier if you need to, all right? And then pull it out. So as you can see, my pendant is attached onto the bracelet, all right? So look at it here, all right? And that's the front. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to see this shorter wire here. I would like to create like a feature that's going to be part of the necklace, all right? So so when you're cutting out your wire, your 16 gauge wire, do bear that in mind. Give yourself an extra length. So if you have like a bigger bracelet as well, and you want to create like extra designs to go in the middle of your bracelet, give yourself enough room, all right? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to now look around and see what beads that I might use, okay? That will be white. Let me look at that and see. Okay, I mentioned in my previous videos as well that I use earring backs for my in any work I do. So this earring backs is all earring stoppers or earring backs. You know, like when you have your post earrings and you use this at the back to stop your earrings from falling off. I use that in anything I make. So I incorporate that in my jewelry. I use that in anything. I use that as my spacers beads. I use that as my design features. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my earring stopper. See, I put that there, okay? And I'm going to slide the other one on the other side of my pendant. All right, so slide that down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's amazing because when you have a particular finding, a lot of the findings you can use in other ways that it was meant for. You can use it in any other way it was meant for. You look at the earring stopper and you're thinking, okay, it's just for earrings, but it can be for anything that you want. Okay, so let me try and see. I'm just putting like a random bead now and see whether that bead, or maybe I should go for like a green color. I don't want it to be too, I want to have like a brighter color next to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I put that big bead there. That's about 8 mm in size. And I'm going to now put another earring stopper at the back here. So you can see it has like a space, it has like a bead cap in a way, interestingly enough. That's what it does. Okay, so I'm just going to put another one here. I'm going to take my earring back. Obviously, the earring backs come in different forms. You have one that is shaped like a butterfly. I think it's like called a butterfly earring bag. You have one that is just like a normal earring bag. But this one is rather unique in its shape. But you can still use the other earring bags as well for your design. Okay, so I think I quite like the way this is looking. Let me see whether I can put another bead. Do I have any other bead here? Let me see whether I have enough of that one. No, maybe try a different color. I've got like maybe use my jade. Let's see if we can have the green. Like a bigger jade color here. I want something definitely lighter, but let me just put that 2 jade stones there. Let's see. Or maybe what I could possibly do is, let me see, look at it. No, it doesn't work. Okay, I have this this crystal bead here. Let me see. I had to hold my back. I had to hold myself from pronouncing the name because I heard that this particular company, if you use their name without the intention, if you don't have their permission, then you'll be in trouble. And I've collaborated with them in the past. Okay, so it's a particular is a well-known crystal company. Let's put it that way. I can't call out their name because if I call out their name, I'll get into trouble. Although I've worked with them in the past and they've provided me with a lot of the beads I've used, the crystals I have, but I'm not allowed to call out their names. You see how I just pulled my name? I'm not allowed to, but it's a well-known crystal company. Okay, so I've got this dome bead from them. I've got that there. Okay, so maybe I can use my earring bag. Should I use another earring bag? No, maybe, okay, maybe I can just proceed and just wrap this end onto, okay, let me just move that here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, or should I put like, I've got like a bead, a small brass bead. Let me see if I can put that brass bead. Okay, yeah, the brass bead works. Okay, so I'll put the brass bead here, like a small brass bead, about 4 mm in size. Okay, so of course you can use any beads you want as well for yours, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tip of my wire, of this, my 16 gauge wire. I'm going to wrap it round, all right? Okay, so just wrap it here. All right, so just take that, wrap it round. All right. It's quite interesting because and a lot of the work I do features that particular company, and I've been watching quite a few. I've been listening to a lot of discussions being had on social media platforms, in some groups I'm on, Facebook and stuff like that. And this discussion has come up about this particular company, where if you're not authorized to use, if they don't give you the permission to use their name, you are not allowed to call out their name. You are not allowed to call out your name, because if you call out your name, you are in trouble. You will get sued. And I'm not gonna be sued by no one. I don't want to start paying out. Sorry, I'm just gonna now shorten my wire, because I realize this part is actually long. Gizmo is snoring. My dog is snoring. Yeah, so it's interesting because with this particular company, you cannot call out your name. Even at the mention of your name, if you mention your name, you get in trouble. So apparently even some retailers that unauthorized retailers, apparently, like let's say if you have a bead shop and you have this particular stock of this particular crystal from this particular company, if you don't get the authorization from them to sell their products, that particular crystal, on your website, you'll be in trouble. In fact, you're not allowed to mention their name. Whew. Yeah, that was, it took a lot of energy off me saying that, because like I said, I've worked with that company for a long time. And I guess if I was to use that thing, I'll just probably write to them and tell them, okay, so I'm just going to wrap again, do the same thing. So I count 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. So I guess if I were to use their beads, I guess I will have to write to them and tell them, oh, I'm using the crystals. Obviously, I've collaborated with you before, and I don't know whether it's going to be that easy. But I guess I have to just get in contact with my contact from that company and then ask a lot of questions. But because it's quite sad, because a lot of the work I have bears the name of that company. But it should be okay, because most of the stuff I did in collaboration with them anyway. So it should be all right. I think it should be all right if I mention their name, but let me not mention their name on this video, just in case. Okay, so once you've done that, this is what it looks like. All right, so that's the back of it. So I've put that popular company name. I've used their dome crystal there. It's like a dome shaped crystal. As you can see, it's got this faceted iridescent glow and shimmer to it. And I've put like some check glass beads, and I've used some earring stoppers as well. So again, it's up to you how you want to use yours. All right, so just use whatever you have at home. All right, recycle, recycle, recycle. All right, so that's what it looks like. All right, so what we're going to do next is we are going to now attach the part of that's going to be holding our necklace. Initially I mentioned, let me find another one. This one, I have another one. Okay, I have a charging cable here. I have a charging cable. I could use a charging cable. Or I can use leather. Okay, I can use a charging cable, or I can use leather. All right, and I'm thinking charging cable will be nice as well. Perhaps I can use both of them and just wrap them round. Oh, okay. Let's see whether it will actually fit into the big cap though first, before you start getting all excited. Let's see. I have this cap. Let's see. No, it will not fit. It will not fit. No, let me try another cap. Let's try another big cap. Okay. Bear with me. Let's try another big cap. Some big caps here. All right, so let me see. If I were to use this one, all right, okay. If I was to use this one, that's fine. All right, so I probably need about 4 of those. All right, 4 of the big caps. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll find my lighter, and then I'm gonna melt the part on the wire. Okay, so this is like a charging cable. As you can see, that's the end of it. This part was that, so I've cut out, but I'm going to cut this part off anyway as well. So I'm just going to cut that part of the cable. I always keep this because I use that in my shoes. I may be thinking, but how? Yes, I use that in my shoes. I use them in the shoes, and I kind of tell a little bit of story in it. Like, in one of my Birkenstocks that I did, and a client bought it, and she was saying to me, "Oh, Anita, I was just looking through my Birkenstocks the other day. I took it out of the box, and I was looking through it. Oh my goodness, I found a charging cable." I was like, "Yeah, I put a charging cable there, as a way of saying that we are on our feet all day. We are on our feet all day. It'll be nice to sit back and put on a comfortable shoes while you're recharging. While you're recharging. While you're recharging your energy. And that is why I use the charging cable in the shoes." So when I mentioned it to her, she said, "Oh my goodness." So you see, I use all those little bits as a way of kind of communicating. Yeah, so just in case if you see like a charging cable in your piece that you choose to invest in, if you choose to invest in my work, you'll find that's a little bit of like a little sentimental little thing I kind of put in there. Okay, so I've got my charging cable and I've got my leather. Okay, so I've decided to use both of them. All right, so you can use anything you have. You can use, if you have two charging cables, you can use both of them. Or if you have anything, you can, or even like belt. Okay, if you have a thin belt like this, like a thin belt like that, you can use that in your, but you just make, obviously you punch a hole and then you're going to attach it onto this. Oh, but that would be nice. I'm going to keep that belt because I'm going to use it for my next tutorial. Okay, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now make sure that I figure out how I want my my layout. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of my 26 gauge wire. All right, so I'm just going to get myself quite a long length because I'm going to be doing a lot of securing and tucking and tucking. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, all right, so I'm just going to take my wire, both of my charging cable, my charging cable, and I'm going to get my leather. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, take my wire, my 26 gauge wire, I'm going to place it in between the wires like that. Okay, and then I'm now going to wrap both of my wires together. You see what I'm doing? I'm just going to wrap them together like so. Okay, all right, I'm going to take this shorter wire here and then I'm going to wrap it there. And then you see this wire here, as I wrapped it, place it in between the cables, so okay, and then pull it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now secure my bead cap over the two cables. So you can use two charging cables if you don't have a leather. Okay, if you don't believe you have leather, you can use charging cables. So if you have charging cables, look around your home, you will definitely find a charging cable. All right, so the bead cap, I'm going to find out the bead cap. If I find this bead cap, the size of it, I'll put it on the description. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to get my Uhu glue, or you can use your E6000 glue. Okay, I'm going to squirt a little bit of the Uhu glue inside my bead cap. All right, okay, and then what I do is I normally use two, excuse all these bits, everything is on the table. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this super glue. I like to use both of them as double strength. Okay, so I'll put my super glue in between, mix it up with the Uhu glue, and then I'm going to push that against my wires. Okay, so when you're pushing that against, bear in mind the direction the hole your thing is facing. Okay, the hole on your bead cap is facing. I want mine facing up like that. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wire. You see this wire here? I'm going to keep my leather the way it is. I love the aged look, the natural feel of it. I love it. So I'm just going to keep it. I'm not going to wrap it with anything. So I'm just going to take my 26 gauge wire. I'm going to just wrap both of the wires together like so. It's just random, just nice, neat wrapping. So as you're wrapping it, make sure you're molding it. Okay, so wrap, wrap, wrap. All right, so let me just move all my pliers to one side because everything is catching onto my wire. Okay, so just wrap. So I see I'm wrapping the wires. You see how I'm wrapping it? It's very, very close. So it's up to you. You can choose to wrap it this way, or you can choose to do crisscross if you wish. All right, so I'm just going to wrap it like that and just keep wrapping, wrapping, wrapping. All right. Okay, so I bet you after doing this, you will never throw away your charging cable again. You will never throw away your belt buckle again. Even with this as well, you can even make a simple necklace. You know, you can do a simple necklace with your charging cables. You know, charging cables. So when even if you have family members and you just say to them, please just save me your charging cables, they will ask you, what do you need that for? You're like, don't worry, I need them. You can use this to make beautiful bracelets, you know, and you can put some beads on it. You can use this to make a simple choker necklace with a dangling pendant in from the middle. So just, you can do, possibilities are endless. You can even use this as a bag strap. You can use your charging cable as a bag strap, guys. Yes, as a bag strap. You can even use this as a headband. The way I've done it here, you can just attach elastic and it becomes a headband. You can do so many things with your charging cables. Honestly, you can do, I get so excited when I get to use something that we use on an everyday basis. I'm going to keep it. Keep it, because sometimes you'll find that there's somewhere where you want to add features like that. Keep it. Nothing goes to waste. Trust me. Nothing goes to waste. When I get to the end there, okay, I'm just going to wrap it quite a few times. I'm going to trim off my wire. Let me put that wire here. There's so much wire. There's so much. Please do, if you're seeing a lot of mess, please do excuse that mess. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my bead cap to make sure. All right, that's fine. And then I'm going to take that shorter wire that I've just trimmed off. I'm going to place it in between the wires like that because it's going to be hidden anyway. So I'm just going to take my bead cap, my end cap. I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of my uhu glue. Just a little bit goes a long way, yeah? Or if you have E6000 glue, just put a little bit goes a long way. Don't put massively, because what happens is if you put a lot, it's going to spill. And when it spills, it's going to go all over. I'm going to put a little bit of my super glue. So if it spills, like I was saying, if it spills, then it goes all over your bead cap and you don't want that, okay? So I'm just going to insert the ends of my cap through onto my my rope, okay? So again, making sure that both of my rope, you see the holes there, it needs to be facing the right direction. All right, so as the glue is still wet, you can still turn it round. So you can see you can have that literally as a necklace. Okay, you just attach a chain and lobster clasp at the end. You can wear that as a necklace. That's a necklace using a charging cable. And then you can put like a pendant hanging down here. You know, you can even do something quirky where you can even have like a large lobster clasp. I don't know, you can do some, it's up to you, you can do something. But again, in essence, this is what happens with what you can do with your charging cable. Okay, let's move along to the next stage. All right. Okay. I found one of the cap the earring stopper. Sorry. So the earring stopper I used. Look at how it is here. I'm trying to show you. This one is one style. One of the style I'm using. You can see what it looks like. You see the proper earring stopper, which is the usual one. This one. You see what it looks like? That you can also use as well. You have a butterfly one. The butterfly one, I haven't got it, but if I find it on my table, I will show you. You can also use that too in your design, okay? All right. Okay, let's move this out of the way. So what we're going to do is I'm doing this necklace in a way whereby it's interchangeable. You can change it however you want, okay? You can change it. You can decide to now, if you don't want this, you can now put a chain over it, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab myself a jump ring, all right? So my jump ring, I'm going to now use two of my chain nose plier. I'm going to now open up my jump ring, okay? I'm going to insert my open jump ring through my lobster clasp. All right, so let me just check and see first whether this is gonna hook on. Otherwise I'll have to change the size of my lobster clasp. Okay, let me check first because I didn't check that before. Okay, bear with me, let me check because I need, okay, I might get a lot much bigger lobster clasp. Okay, do bear with me. Let me see if that size works. No, but that will slip off. I need a bigger size. Do bear with me. Let me find a bigger size. Or actually what I can do is, okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. I told you when there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so I'm just going to insert my open jump ring through the loop on my bead cap, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and twist to close my jump ring. All right, okay, and I'm going to now flatten the top of it here if I feel like it's open. All right, so you can see it's trapped in there. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, two chain nose pliers. I'm going to twist to open, and I'm going to take my jump ring, insert it through the loop on the big cap, and then, excuse me, and I'm gonna now close it. Okay, so I've got my two ends with my lobster clasp, and then my jump ring. Okay, then what I'm going to do is, okay, so we didn't even need the large swivel clasp anymore. You can see everything has changed. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up, I'm going to form like a chain link using my jump rings. Okay, so I'm just going to open up my jump ring like that. Okay, this is also another thing you can do. If you don't have any chain, you can also use your jump rings to form links, which is gonna, in essence, it's gonna end up being like a chain. Okay, so I've now opened up my jump ring, inserted one of my jump rings through my other jump ring, and I'm gonna now twist to close. Okay, so you see this jump ring that is here. I'm just gonna take one of my jump rings, open up one end. I should have really opened up that one, shouldn't have closed that one. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it wide enough. Okay, I'm going to insert that open jump ring. Oh, where is it? Okay, all right, bear with me. Okay, I'm going to insert that open jump ring. Okay, let me put my jump ring back, this other jump ring back. Okay, I'm going to open up my jump ring. I'm going to find a way to close my jump ring. Okay, you see I put it around my bracelet. Okay, do bear with me, this part is a bit tricky. So I'm just going to take my jump ring here and take the other one. I'm going to twist to close. All right, so when you twist it to close, I'm going to twist it again because both of the ends are not meeting each other in the middle. So I'm just going to twist. I have to be careful because the weight of the pendant. All right, okay, so yeah, so make sure that if you not close the holes, if the gaps are not closed together, you can use your chain nose plier and just pinch it close. Okay, so what we've done is we've trapped this part. You see this part is trapped onto the chain. See, it's not going to go anywhere because we have that. So if you have the actual proper bracelet and you're using that in your necklace, what you can do is you can put that in between the beads that you've wrapped around, and then what that does is it secures your jump ring. So you see I've linked two jump rings together to create that longer loop there. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing for this other side here. So I'm just gonna now open up my jump ring. Okay, and then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert it first, wrap, and then insert, and then pass through my other jump ring and then close. Okay, so I'm just going to insert that through, and I'm going to take my other jump ring, pass that through like that in the middle, insert that through my open jump ring, and I'm going to go ahead and then close my jump ring. Okay, bear with me. Oh. Okay, so I'm just going to grab hold of that, and then I'm going to now pinch it close. Okay, I'm just going to twist it again to close. So because I want both ends of my jump rings to meet in the middle. All right. Okay, so once I've closed it, you can see what it looks like. It's closed. So I've got this part of my jump ring. So Make sure that I flatten everything. Everything is flat. Okay, all right, okay. So you see, in essence, let me show you what's happening here. I've got one part of my jump ring and then one part of my jump ring. Oh, I'm trying to, hold on. I'm trying to lift it so you can see. Okay, so basically it's like that. Can you see that? So both ends of the jump ring there, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lobster clasp from my rope here. I'm going to insert it through the top of my lobster clasp of my jump ring, okay? And then this is how you can put it on. So you can change it if you wish. So if you want to use like a chain, so let's say if you have your pendant and you want to put a chain onto where your pendant with a chain, then what you can do is you can now attach lobster clasp onto both ends of your chain. And then what you can then do is you can now hook that onto your necklace. So you can now alternate it if you want, depending on how you feel, okay? So this is going to eventually flatten down eventually. You know, this, don't worry about leather. It's going to flatten down eventually, okay? So I'm thinking, and look at the necklace. In essence, if you want to have your necklace like this and you're done with it, that's fine. That is fine. You're done. If you're done with it, that's fine. But if you want to start adding extra things, you can start adding like maybe chain tassels if you wish, okay? Or you can, but I quite like the way it looks. I really like the way it looks. I really like the way it looks. I quite like the simplicity. It's very dramatic. We've got this detailing going on here. We've got the bling. We've got the dazzle and razzle. I'm thinking, no, I don't think I should add anything else. But I think eventually I might end up having like a chain. Like, let's say if you have like loads of chains. I'm in here. I have like I have like a jar with all my chains on it. I've got a jar with all the chains. Look at that. Oh, I found like there's a lobster clasp, another lobster clasp in there. Okay, that needs to come out. Okay, so I've got a jar here with a lot of chains. Oh, I'm gonna use that for another project. Okay, so what you could possibly do is if you have, oh shoot, can I do that quickly? Can I do that quickly? Okay, let me do that quickly. I've got this chain here. It's a bit mangled up. It's a bit mangled up. Yeah, it's a bit, okay, I'm going to use this chain here, this brass chain here. It's from a necklace. Can you see that necklace? Like a necklace, and it's got like a bird. Oh, I quite like that birdie there. Okay, I'm going to use that for another project. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to put these bits back because I really don't need these bits here. I think I've got the chain that I need, so I'm just going to put that all back. I always have like a little jar where I put all the bits and bobs that I don't need. So if you have like a chain, if you have like chains that are all tangled up and you're thinking, oh God, I can't use that, find a jar and pop them all in there. All right, so you see here, oh, I really love this chain. Oh, okay, we've got like a tassel, but I'm looking on this acrylic tassel. I'm looking on that acrylic tassel. let's not get it involved in this project. Okay, so I've got these tassels here. Let me take all this. I like that chain. Okay, I like that chain, so I'm just gonna take out the chain. I'm not a fan of that acrylic because I don't want to start doing, because otherwise it's gonna be a lengthy. Okay, so I like this chain here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now get myself, so I want to add like maybe a fringing detail in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut myself some random length of chain. So I'm just going to cut here, so you see my chains. So you can get a normal, like if you have like a chain that you're not using, you haven't used in a while, so you can use that. So I'm just measuring out using 1 to against. Okay, so if you have such chains, you can use them in your project. Okay, so I'm just going to put my chains here. I'm gonna take that one here. Just gonna cut in random sizes, because what I'm trying to create here is like a tassel drop. Okay, like a tassel drop that's gonna hang. But like I said, if you've come to that part and you say, okay, you know what, Anita, I'm done with it, I don't want to add any more things onto my necklace, I am quite happy with the way it is at the moment, then you can now stop and don't do this stage. But if you want to do this stage, do continue watching the tutorial. I'll show you. I'll show you how to add the tassels. Okay, so you can use a round nose plier to break off the link, but I'm just cutting off the links, the cut in between. All right, so I'm just going to look at the back of my pendant, and I can see we need jump ring for this. So I'm just going to twist open my jump rings. Okay, so I'm just going to open up my jump ring like that. Okay, so I just open quite a few of it, so it makes it easy for us to kind of link the chains onto the necklace. All right, so I'm just going to do the same here. I'm going to twist. I'm so sorry if this this tutorial is ever going to be so long. So sorry in advance. Okay, I'm just going to twist open. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my chain nose plier. I'm just going to find random holes on my chain buckle, on my belt buckle. I'm just trying. If it doesn't work, I'll probably just leave the chain. Or maybe what I can do is I can just put the chain hanging here in the middle. Okay, I think, yeah, so you can see on my buckle, there's like a loop here. So I'm just going to add some of the chains through. Hopefully they'll fit through this. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me put the chains on first, and I'll loop it through. God, how did that jump ring go into that hole? Oh my gosh, did you see that? Okay, so I'm just going to thread onto my jump ring quite a few chains. So it's just going to be random chains, different lengths. Okay, different lengths, and then put that one here. How many? I've done 4 so far. All right, so there's 4 there. I'm gonna get another one for here, 5. All right, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay, so there's gonna be 5 on each side. All right, so I'm just gonna take my jump ring, my jump ring with all my chains, pass it through that hole there at the end of my belt buckle. But obviously, if your belt buckle doesn't have that, you can find a way to insert the tassels. That's if you, this part is optional. It's optional. Okay, it's just me trying to be extra. It's just me trying to be extra. I'm always extra. I'm always extra when it comes to things. I'm so extra. So extra. I mean, extra in creativity, but not extra in personality. It's weird, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing for the opposite side again. I'm going to thread onto my jump ring. I always say that I am an introvert, which is weird. I'm an extrovert. Introvert trapped in an extrovert body, which is weird. Everything I create is loud and very vivacious and bold, but really I am a very quiet. I love my space. I am an introverted person. You see me, yes, I come into the room, I'm like, la. Yes, I can be very conversational. I can, but I have that introvert part to me as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that as well. Link all my chains together. So sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. Really, I should have my glasses on. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this part here. Again, like I said, this is optional. Yeah, you don't have to do this part. It's just me being extra. Just me being extra. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and close that part. All right. All right, so what I'm going to do is, you see this, the part, the back. Okay, once I've done that, I'll show you what this looks like. Bear with me, I'm just trying to close, making sure that the tip of my wires are meeting each other. Okay, all right, so once I've done that, let me move all that. So you see I've attached the tassels onto the end, so that's what it looks like. Oh, if you even have time, I'm not going to do that now because obviously this video is going to end up being too long. You can attach some charms onto it, but what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to now put like I'm going to put like onto the back, I'm going to cover the back with the lining. Okay, cover the back of my necklace with the lining, so I can use denim or any soft material, and I'm going to put the hoo glue around there, and I'm going to cover that back of my necklace. But yeah, so the necklace is done. So it's one of those necklaces, if you don't want your charging cable, you take it out. You can even attach chains onto the ends. I haven't got a chain here. Is there any chain I can attach, just for the sake of just experiments, just to show you? Okay, so let's say, oh, for instance, quickly, I'm just going to show you this quickly because I've got that chain out. Yeah, let me just quickly attach this onto, just quickly, and just show you what it looks like if you want to use chain as well. Okay, so do bear with me. I'm just going to quickly do this because otherwise this video is going to end up being super long. I am so sorry about this. I'm so sorry, but just to show you the options that you can have. Sorry, just gonna close this quickly. I'm like getting really like panicked because I feel like, oh my goodness, this video is so long already. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this. He's saying, let me just close the jump ring. Okay, all right, so let's say for instance you don't want the charging cable, okay, and you have your chain. What you can do is you can take your chain. All right, take your chain, attach your chain. So you take your chain, you attach the chain onto your necklace, and then you can now swap it again and can have your charging cable necklace as well. But anyway, thank you so much. This is what it looks like. Obviously that's the necklace. Sorry, bear with me. This is what it looks like with the chain. Obviously we've seen what it looks like without the chain, but with the move this to one side. So this is what it looks like with the chain. Do excuse the mess on the table. That's what it looks like, the necklace looks like with the chain here. Okay, like that. And then obviously we can now alternate that and then have it with the cord as well. Okay, let me just quickly take that out so you can see what it looks like with the cord as well, the phone cord. Okay, here. All right. Oh, okay, do bear with me, just showing you what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Okay, Anita, it's a bit fiddly. All right, so yeah, so this is what it looks like with the charging cable. All right, so that's what it looks like here. Oh, I'm so sorry. So that's it. Okay, so yes, so this is what the necklace looks like, and then with our tassel detailing here. All right, thank you so much for going on this amazing creative journey with me. You are all super amazing. Thank you so much. If you love this video, if you like this video and you would like to see more tutorials from me and you're interested in what I create, please do not forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I'm new to YouTube channel. I'm so used to teaching on Zoom and teaching in-person classes that, you know, it's such a joy to be on YouTube and to teach, you know. So if you like what I do, please do not forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I would absolutely appreciate that. Thank you so much, and once again, you are amazing. All right, have the most amazing day. Take good care of yourself. I look forward to seeing your pieces. Do tag me on Instagram under Anita Kwanzaa London, and then on Facebook as well on Anita Kwanzaa London. But yeah, thank you so much and have the most amazing day. Take care. Bye.